Today on POV, we're going to be going over a few simple tricks and tips to help improve your transitions and help shoot better while moving. But first, why would you want to shoot while you're moving? So whether you're a competition shooter, a backyard LARPer, or somebody that's actually training to become better with self-defense, knowing how to shoot while you move and doing fast transitions takes your shooting skills to another level. I feel like that's probably the hardest skills to acquire with a pistol. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. He asked me because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah, you're pretty bad with transitions. You can shoot while you're moving though. But today we're going to see if we could fix that. Being able to shoot while you're moving or transitioning faster is such a hard skill to acquire. I think it elevates your shooting skills more than anything else, especially when it comes to shooting a pistol. I think them are the two hardest things to accomplish and certainly the hardest to be good at. So I'm going to try my very best to explain to you how I do what I do and try to pass on any knowledge I possibly can to you guys. But first, let's start with the drill, shooting while moving, to see why it would even help in the first place. So for this, we are just using a Staccato XC. It's got the TrigCon SRO on it, the Surefire X300, and we're carrying that in a We the People outside the waistband holster. This is one of their duty belt setups. This is their belt, their inner belt, and then they got their mag pouches right here. So if anybody watching this is interested or in need of some sort of a holster, whether that's outside of the waistband or appendix carry, We the People holsters carries a little bit of anything. If you're not looking for a holster, they also have some pretty dope merch. They have bacon jerky, they have little cups, they got a little bit of everything on their website. If you want to save 25%, use this code right here. I'll put a link down in the description below. Let's get back to it. 3 boxes and 3 different targets. We'll double tap all 3 targets and stop to take your shots, and then for the second time I'll run through the whole thing without stopping and shoot the same targets, just so you guys can see the time difference. Now this of course could apply to a competition, but it can also apply if you're trying to take down 3 aliens. The space kind. Don't cancel me. All right, to try to make this make sense, we're just gonna say that I can only shoot in between these lines. Like here's one of my shoot boxes. My shoot kind of shape. All right, we're gonna say I can only pull the trigger inside of these boxes. So first I'm gonna stop in all 3 of the boxes to take my 2 shots, and then I'm gonna try to shoot while I'm moving through the boxes. .583. .519, and I was like slowly walking through the whole thing. I wasn't like running to the next thing. It's even like keeping that momentum, cut time off. Try to speed it up. .450. So was that a full second and a half faster? And I feel like my movement wasn't any faster. It's just that my momentum's already going, and to be able to shoot through that just saves you time in the end. But I don't think that's where shooting and moving actually shines. I think it's when you're walking to a target or away from a target. Being able to hit that while your gun's doing one of these is the hard part. Running side to side isn't that difficult if you can quickly stop and shoot. You could probably do the same while you're walking through it. I feel like that's kind of the easier portion of that. Dalton, would you agree?
Yeah.
Prove it.
.678.
Nice.
No, we're not stopping.
Nope.
All right, ready?
Yep. That was solid.
.476.
Damn.
That was good.
.427. All right, so the reason we decided to make this video is because in the shorts and stuff, I'm usually shooting the guns while I'm walking backwards or walking forwards. I think that's where I've seen like the majority of the comments ask me to do this video, so I'm gonna touch base on that. Figured we would just start there because that's probably the most simple thing to do. And as you guys can see, even at the lowest level, kind of taking our time and just going through it, you can see how much time it saves you at the end. So next time you're at a competition, or maybe you want to start competition, maybe practice doing that, walking through your shoot boxes instead of stopping at them. If you're allowed to, if you know the barricades and everything will allow you to, just try that. I'm sure it'll save you time at the end if you can actually hit your shot, which is also a very hard part of shooting a pistol. But anyways, all right, so obviously this is super unrealistic distances. We're standing at 100 yards, but I figured this would kind of prove my point a little bit more than standing at 7 yards. So most trainers will tell you the heel to toe trick. They want you to step with your heel and walk through it, get down and kind of do one of these. But what I find is that when people try to do that, they overthink it. We got a couple buddies that come out here and shoot with us, but every time we try to like show them how to shoot and walk, they get in their minds a little bit and they're focused too much on the heel to toe so they can hold steady. And I always see them kind of stopping before they break their shot and then they'll continue. That seems to be the biggest problem with people. So what I try to tell people is don't overthink it. Don't think about your heel to toe, just simply walk. You can walk! You can walk! My favorite analogy, I know this is gonna go over a lot of people's heads, but you remember when you were a kid in Hy-Vee stores and stuff like that, the little light bulbs that went around and one lit up at a time and you had to hit the button as soon as that popped up on the right spot? I don't know, maybe nobody will understand that, but I always kind of think of that exact same concept. I was really good at that game when I was a kid. Just wait for the light and then hit the button right away and you get the prize. Anyways, same kind of concept when it comes to your dot and your target. Like your dot's gonna be doing one of these and you're gonna wanna break your shot as soon as that dot crosses your target anyway. Human reaction time is in between 200 and 300 milliseconds. So when you're also thinking about your heel to toe, your reaction time is gonna be quite less than that. So again, I just kind of tell people not to overthink it. Just walk and only focus on that sight hitting your target. How about a muffler next time maybe? All right, so I'm gonna do 3 shots. I'm gonna do it the proper way, the heel to toe. I'm gonna focus on the way I walk. I'm gonna do the arch. I'm gonna hold the pistol as steady as I can, and then I'll just simply walk at the target so we can see the difference. Good? So 2 out of 3, but again, I find myself like really focusing on how steady I can hold the pistol instead of just simply breaking the shot when my dot hits the target, whatever direction it's coming in from. Now I'm just simply gonna walk at the target and break my 3 shots. So much easier when you have less to focus on. I'm not thinking about my heel to toe. I'm simply just walking and let that dot do whatever it wants. A lot of people will tell you to try to figure eight the scope or figure eight the red dot and then break your shot when it hits the center. Helps for a lot of people, but I've been doing it this weird way for so damn long. It just doesn't matter where the dot's coming through. Just as long as you can focus on your target and break your shot when the dot crosses it. I can't really find any better way to explain that. I'm just really target focused, and whenever that red dot comes into contact with that target, I break my shot. It sounds a lot easier than it is, to be honest, but I think that's people's like biggest mistake is focusing so hard on the way you're walking, focusing so hard to try to keep that pistol steady.
Yeah.
Don't.
Just walk, let that pistol move, and just have a fast reaction time. Like I said, 200 to 300 milliseconds. Rely on that reaction time and don't add in equations like your heel and your toe and overthink the situation. Maybe I sound like a dumbass. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I just find it helps a little bit, and explaining it to people when they come out here and shoot seems to help them a bunch too. So maybe somebody will take something away from this, and hopefully it helps somebody. Now it's the same concept walking back, but we're just gonna walk at this target and just randomly pop shots at it. See, I'm like not even slowing down or stuttering. I feel like when I start doing this, then I want to like wait until I'm on my right foot to break the shot, and then it makes me miss. I feel like I'm just waiting too much to like get on a proper foot alignment. It's just too much to overthink. I would rather just walk and shoot the damn target. I feel like this demonstration's douchey. I don't know how to explain it. It just works so much better. Stop sticking your ass out. Stop doing this. Looks like you got a shit. So again, same concept when you're walking backwards. Now, of course, this depends a lot on your terrain or what the hell you're doing. Like sometimes it just works better if you stop, quite obviously. I don't know. So walking backwards, again, same concept. You can do your whole heel to toe or toe to heel backwards and try to steady your pistol. But again, I find it the same problems. I find I only want to break my shots when I'm on my feet because your pistol's kind of doing one of these. Go ahead. Yep. Now when I want to do this shit, I want to like hold myself steady and pull the trigger like as I'm falling. I feel like walking backwards is harder than walking forwards though. I don't really have anything else to try to kind of help you guys with shooting while moving. That was really all I wanted to touch base on, just because I see so many people try to do it the proper way and it messes with their minds and makes them miss. But if doing that helps you, if that's how you shoot better while moving, stick with that. Try both ways and see what works best for you. This is just what I learned helps me in my personal experience be able to shoot better while moving, and it seemed to help all my buddies. So give it a shot. If it works, it works. All right, so now we're going to talk about transitions. The easiest way I can explain transitions is, first and foremost, I have a video on proper grip. If you guys haven't seen that, go watch that right here. And after you establish a good grip and have that good point to shoot, it kind of makes everything a lot more simple. If you're trying to transition with a loose grip and don't have control over that recoil, your return to zero is you're gonna miss your second shot for sure. I think shooting transitions quickly with a pistol is probably the hardest skill to acquire. I think this is harder than shooting while moving. All right, so I'm gonna start right here with the 3 C-zone steel plates. Now, obviously, stuff this close together isn't that hard, unless you're talking about like double tapping. You want the time in between the double taps to be as little as possible. So stuff this close together, it's kind of just riding the recoil. Like normally, I'm just gonna go in the dirt here with your return to zero. You just wanna pull the trigger as soon as your red dot snaps back to zero. It's kind of the same concept. You're just kind of quickly moving your gun in between its return to zero. So I'm just kind of riding the recoil and pulling the trigger every time the gun comes back to zero. I'm just relying on my point shooting to be able to know my gun is there, break the shot. So that's fairly simple, and the same concept when you're going double tap. If you are constantly watching your dot and paying attention to your dot and trying to follow your dot to your targets, it's going to slow you down. So I think Dalton's biggest struggle when it comes to shooting is being able to shoot transitions efficiently, and he's going to explain why. Explain that again.
For me, my problem is when I'm shooting, I'm tracking the dot on each target. So I either have to stop, pull the trigger, or if I'm trying to swing through, if you're watching the dot, that 200 to 300 milliseconds, you're going to see the dot, see the target, and then go, I need to pull the trigger, and then you're going to be late. Or if you try to preemptively pull the trigger, you're going to shoot early. So if you're looking at the target while you're transitioning to it, your reaction time, your reaction time is more in line because you're already looking at the target when the dot gets there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I think your issue is kind of the same thing as everybody else's issue when they're doing transitions, is they want to stare at their dot the entire time and lead their dot to their next target. So the simplest way I can say this is just lead with your eyeballs. Like as soon as you break this shot, look at your next target. That doesn't mean you gotta like crank your entire neck and then follow through with your pistol. That just means like your eyes are slightly ahead of your pistol. I see people either doing none of it or all of it. Like you gotta find that happy medium. Only keep your eyes so far ahead of your pistol. Say I'm going wide right to wide left. I see people doing one of these and then they'll swing through their shot. Now if I'm just barely leading with my eyes, then I'm able to lock on a split second before my pistol hits it.
Would you say like 200 to 300 milliseconds?
Like 200 to 300 milliseconds, yes, like the average reaction time. So I'm gonna try this in real time. I'm gonna try to look at the dot and follow the dot the whole time, and then I'll do it by leading the dot, and then I'll do it the next step that I'm gonna teach you guys, which is point shooting. I know that sounds super weird, but I don't think enough people talk about how relevant it is to be able to point shoot. I do have a video on that if you guys want some tips on point shooting. To be able to not look at your dot at all and still land shots in your A zone is, again, one of the hardest skills to acquire, but one of the best ways to shoot your pistol efficiently. If you can point shoot that and not have to find your dot, your transitions are gonna be flawless. All right, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, so now that I'm like trying to stare at the red dot, I went beyond the target and then I had to make up for it. So I understand your issue now, but so again, I'm just slightly looking at the next target.
Would you say you're looking down like just the right side of the optic?
No. So if I'm looking at this target right now, I can see my next target in my peripheral vision, so I can break my shot and instantly just move over to the next target. So that's about the only trick or tip to this, is just side eye your next target. Just be looking ahead of your pistol slightly, and I feel like that's everybody's kind of downfall. They want to look at the red dot and follow the red dot as they're going through. You'll either undershoot or overshoot.
Let me quickly try this.
All right, do your normal thing.
I hit the very right edge of that target.
Okay, go again.
Okay, same exact spot, but that was faster.
Yeah, that's still a good cadence. Okay, now try as soon as you break that first shot to lead with your eyes before your pistol follows.
All right. That felt faster.
So leading with your eyes, I think that's all there is to it. It's just kind of good, proper grip, good form, and being able to move your body with your hips just as fast as you can. Don't overthink it. You'll overshoot it or undershoot it. Just kind of, it's the same light bulb thing. You want to, as soon as your dot crosses that target, you want to break your shot. I think it's just a lot of repetition and a lot of like dry fire practice. I just sit there and find 2 spots in my wall to kind of just quickly go over. I won't break my dry fire shot at this one. I'll break it at the next one. I feel like that helps a lot. If you guys want to practice at home, just practice pointing your red dot at a spot on your wall, and then practice quickly going over to the next one to break your shot.
Light switches.
Light switches help like a motherfucker when it comes to dry fire. I'm really bad at explaining how to shoot to people. I would be a horrible trainer. Just start small, start slow, just get into a cadence, get into a groove. You'll get faster, you get better over time. Just practice makes perfect. I just see it a lot in the comments, so I figured we'd touch base on it quick. Hopefully it helped one of you guys. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Go out to the range, see what works best for you, and stick with that. Go get training. Go get actual in-person training and see if what that guy teaches you is going to help you. Go with multiple trainers. Just practice makes perfect. That's all we got for you guys today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.